All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see by the title and the thumbnail, this is step 9 to recovery. My ninth step to recovery. As you know, if you've been following the series, this is kind of my take on the steps. Now, some people may not completely agree with me, but this is what worked for me. If you're new to the channel, back in the late 80s, I became addicted to illegal narcotics, the crystal. And, I say it that way because of YouTube standards. I have to watch the way I word things or they'll flag me. But yeah, I was addicted for well over a decade, in and out of county jail facilities and prison. At one point, I was on probation in Los Angeles, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties all at the same time. So things became really messy. But that's what addiction did to me. Now, on August the 9th of 2004, that is my sobriety birthday, and I am now coming up on 21 years clean. So I'm here to tell you that it can be done. If you're new into recovery, welcome. I believe in you. You can do it. Okay. Not everybody around you is going to instantly open their arms and say, "Oh, wow, you got clean," because chances are you've been telling them you're clean for a while when you weren't. So that trust comes in time. Okay. If Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share the video. It may help somebody in their journey to recovery. So, step 9, what is it? As it says in the NA 12 steps, we may direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. So let's unpack this a little bit and break it down as I did it. Okay. By the time you get to the ninth step, chances are you got a year or more clean. So you're out of the fog, you're thinking correctly again, you're feeling better, and now it's time to unburn some of those bridges if it's possible. Okay. We're making amends to all the people that we've hurt, basically. And now the key to that is except when to do so would injure them or others, right? So not all relationships can be mended. And some examples of those were there were people that owed me money and that I owed money to when I got clean. And trying to make amends with them could have resulted in some injuries. You know what I mean? So, and not everybody is, like I said, not everybody's going to welcome you with open arms and say, "Oh my God, Bobby, you got clean." Because I'd been telling them that for a long time and I wasn't. Actions speak louder than words, right? So, we're going to basically make up for all the time that we were an asshole, that we only cared about ourselves, that, only, the only thing that mattered was me getting high. And in the process of that, I hurt a lot of people. We hurt a lot of people, right? So now it's time to make amends. It's time to, like I said, actions speak louder than words, I remember with my mom, may she rest in peace. There were a couple of times where I tried to get clean and I told her I was clean. And there were times when I outright lied to her and said, "Oh, yeah, Mom, I'm clean." And then I gave her husband a ride one day and I wasn't clean. I was still dealing. And I had a bunch of change in the center console. And this is an example of why they don't trust us in early in recovery. So I gave her husband a ride, not my father, but her second husband. And I took him to go pick up some medication or something. They were already seniors and semi-disabled, you know what I mean? So the fact that I was able to give him a ride was a good thing. But on the way back, her husband said, I need some, they were staying in some apartments in Rialto. And he said, "I need to get some quarters to do some wash." And in that center console right there is where I kept all my change, and I probably had $10 worth of quarters in there or more. But what I forgot was there was also 2 8 balls in that thing, and it had like the little thing that you flick open, and then the change was in there. It's like kind of like the thing you would put your cup in, but it had a cover that closed. Completely slipped my mind that they were in there, and I told him, go ahead, get as much change as you need out of there. And he went to hand me the money, and I said, no, don't worry about it, because financially, I think I was doing a little bit better at that time than probably they were. So like I was trying to make amends, even though I was still using. And when he flicked that thing open, his eyes got huge. And I'm driving, and I looked down, and I'm like, oh shit. And he flicked it back closed, and he said, never mind, I'll just get some change on my own. And I felt like this small because I'm trying to put out this persona about myself, like, oh yeah, I'm doing good and stuff. And he opens it up, and there's a 1/4 ounce of dope sitting there. So eventually, she would be out of my life for over a decade, not because of her actions, but because of my actions. And I would eventually get back in her life. I already had some clean time, but by the time I got back into her life, it was like 2015. This was probably 2002, 2001. So yeah, we were not talking for a long time, and she had gotten sick already. Um, but I was able to make amends by being there for her, and like she got moved into a nursing home. Basically, she couldn't uh, function on her own anymore, and I wasn't able to care for her like that. So, but my wife and I, we would show up all the time and like bring her bakers or like a pizza or something. She loved chocolate shakes. So the nursing home didn't necessarily like the fact that I was bringing her chocolate shakes because she had diabetes. But, I figured once in a while, not that big of a deal, right? So that was making amends with her. Um, and making amends is important because the thing is, you don't want to hold on to things because it can almost create reservations for a relapse. You want to let everything go and enjoy this new life of sobriety. So in step 9, that's exactly what we do. We make direct amends to people whenever possible. Like I said, the thing is, if you've been fighting with your uncle when you were drinking or whatever, maybe you might not be able to make amends. That could be one of those exceptions to when to do so when injure them or others, right? So you don't want to put yourself in a situation where it could lead to a physical confrontation or even worse. But where possible, we want to make amends. We want to let all that stuff go. We don't want to hold grudges. And, we want to move on to that next chapter of our life where we're living sober and we're happy. And, you know, by letting all this stuff go, it takes you to that next level of sobriety, and it helps you to move forward. So that's kind of an overview of step 9 to recovery. We made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. That's kind of my take on it. You definitely want to make amends where you can, and if you can't, then just you may have to cut ties. I cut ties with a lot of people after I got sober. One of the things is if they're still using, that's not really somebody you want to build a relationship with or continue a relationship with, because then you're going to be keeping company with the type of people that are going to lead you down the road to destruction. So, if you haven't seen the previous 8 steps to recovery, they're on the playlist of recovery. So go back and check those out. There, I got the first 8 steps. That's not 8, that's 6. The first 8 steps. I don't know what's going on today. I was in the store earlier with the wife, and something was 4. I don't know what it was, but we were grocery shopping, you know? And I was like, "You want 4?" And now we got 8. Oh, man. Anyways, I hope everybody is having a great week. It's always a great day to get sober. If you're thinking about coming over to the sober side, then, you know, there's plenty of room for you over here, and welcome. Find yourself a meeting. Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, whatever floats your boat, whatever your deal was. You know, and if you were an alcoholic, you can still go to Narcotics Anonymous. And if you were a drug user, you can still go to Alcoholics Anonymous. Some people say the AA meetings are a little more stuffy, in the sense that the AA people think they're better than the NA people. It really don't matter. If you're going to a good meeting, you should be welcomed regardless. And if you're not welcome, then find a different meeting. Find yourself a sponsor. What you should be looking for in a sponsor is somebody that had a similar story to yours. And you will find that by going to meetings and listening. You know, we talk a lot in our addictions, right? We become fast talkers, manipulators. Now it's time to shut up. Go to a meeting, shut up and listen. And when you hear somebody tell a story that sounds similar to yours, approach that individual. It's not going to happen on the first day, or it probably won't. It might not happen in the first week, but at some point you need to find somebody that can walk you through these steps and bring you to the promised land. So that's step 9 to recovery. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do me a favor, share this video. If you know somebody that is struggling with alcoholism or addiction, share the video, share my channel to them, because we're here to try to help people recover. I was able to do it. You can do it. Believe me. So hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment. Tell me how your 9th step went. Tell me how you're doing in your journey to recovery. Tell me, you know, are you sponsoring people now because you got some time under your belt? Are you working with a sponsor? What are you doing? What's the game plan, and how's it working? It's not always going to be easy. Life is going to happen. Whether you're sober or you're not, life is going to happen. It's just nice to have a sober state of mind to be able to make better decisions as life does happen. So that's my video for the day. Family, fitness, and freedom are the things that allow me to get my life together, and they can help you as well. And don't look at the mountain, just start climbing.